We're live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Lithakshi Khurana, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Indian Parliament's lower house all set to hold a special discussion on India's strong, successful and decisive Operation Sindoor in response to terrorist attack in Pahalgam, even as the Prime Minister issues a stern warning that there is not any safe haven left for the terrorist. Transatlantic trade war averted as US and the European Union clinch what is claimed as the biggest ever deal. All EU imports in the US to be levied with 15% tariffs. Deal also includes $600 billion EU investments in the United States. Thailand and Cambodian leaders to meet in Malaysia for peace talks to end border hostilities that has killed at least 34 in last 4 days. In sports, the wait to crown the Queen of Chess continues as the All-Indian FIDE Women's World Cup final between Devi Deshmukh and Konuru Hampi moves into the tie-break stage. And on to the details now. The monsoon session of Parliament witnessed disruptions as opposition parties created uproar ahead of the scheduled debate on Operation Sindoor. The protest led to the adjournment of both the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha till 12 p.m. IST. In Lok Sabha, Speaker Om Birla urged members to maintain decorum but eventually adjourned the proceedings as the commotion continued.
ये देश देखेगा कि आपने प्रश्नकाल को नियोजित तरीके से बाधा पहुंचाई, तख्तियां लहराई, पर्चे फेंके, नारेबाजी करी। सदन की कार्रवाई आज 12 बजे तक के लिए स्थगित की जाती है।
Well, the lower house of the Parliament is set for a high-voltage debate on the Pahalgam attack and Operation Sindoor. 16 hours have been allocated to both houses for a debate on these issues. The House will have a special discussion on India's strong, successful and decisive Operation Sindoor in response to terrorist attack in Pahalgam. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will initiate the debate in the Lok Sabha. NDA MPs such as Shiv Sena Shrikant Shinde, Janata Dal United Sanjay Jha, Telugu Desam Party's Harish Balayogi, who led the multi-party delegations to carry India's views on Operation Sindoor, may also speak during the debate in the Parliament. And India's national security architecture demonstrated the strength of jointness and strategic foresight with the Operation Sindoor initiated in the aftermath of the Pahalgam terror attack, product of meticulous planning and an intelligence-led approach. The operation dismantled the terror infrastructure across the line of control and deeper inside Pakistan and significantly ensuring minimal collateral damage. Well, the operation demonstrated India's capacity for high precision, coordinated military action across land, air and sea. Also, Indian Air Force conducted high-impact air operations on targets such as the Noor Khan Air Base and the Rahim Yar Khan Air Base. Indigenously developed Akash surface-to-air missile system and legacy platforms like the Pechora and Osa AK provided layered defense grid. During retaliatory drone and UAV attacks, Indian Army's air defense units worked in tandem with the Air Force, deploying a wide array of systems ranging from shoulder-fired manpads and LLAD guns to long-range SAMs. Array of systems ranging from shoulder-fired manpads and LLAD guns to long-range SAMs. Indian Navy deployed its carrier battle group equipped with MiG-29K fighter jets and airborne early warning helicopters. Well, CBG maintained a powerful air defense shield that prevented hostile aerial incursions, especially from the Makran coast. Border Security Force also played a critical role in thwarting a major infiltration attempt along the international border in the Samba district of Jammu and Kashmir. 2 infiltrators neutralized. The operation was made possible by years of investment in defense preparedness and the unwavering policy and budgetary support from the Government of India. Well, Operation Zindur will be remembered as a defining moment in India's defense history, successfully eliminating terror threats, reaffirming India's regional dominance, and sending a strong message that cross-border terrorism would be met with a calibrated yet firm response. And moving on, a stampede took place at a temple in North Indian city of Barabanki in early hours of Monday. 2 devotees lost their lives while 29 others were injured. The stampede occurred during morning prayers at around 2 a.m. IST when an electric wire fell on the tin shed inside the temple, causing panic. The district administration reported that a group of monkeys jumped on a high voltage wire. The wire broke and fell on the tin shed in the temple premises. This led to the spread of electric current, triggering fear among the crowd. Panic soon turned into a stampede. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has taken cognizance of the accident. He expressed condolences to the bereaved families of the deceased. Chief Minister Yogi has instructed the district administration officials to ensure the injured are immediately hospitalized and provided with proper treatment. Also, 4 persons, including 2 children, died and 3 others are reportedly missing after a pickup truck carrying around 25 people fell into the Sirhind Canal in Punjab on Sunday night. The group of devotees was returning from the Devi temple in neighbouring Himachal Pradesh after offering prayers when the driver lost control of the vehicle. The rescue operation is underway. Meanwhile, the death toll in Sunday's stampede at Mansa Devi temple in Haridwar has risen to 8. Being a Sunday, a large crowd of devotees had gathered at the temple atop the Shivalik hills. The stampede was triggered due to rumors of an electric current where stairs to the temple begin sent people into panic. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami has ordered magisterial probe. And torrential monsoon rains continue to lash several Indian states, leading to flooding, landslides, road blockages and evacuation efforts across many states. In the north, very heavy rainfall is likely to lash Uttarakhand, while Himachal Pradesh and Western Uttar Pradesh are expected to experience similar conditions on Monday. In Western India, the Indian Met Department has issued a yellow alert for Mumbai, Palghar and Thane districts of Maharashtra. A high tide alert has also been issued for Mumbai. Further, South India, isolated heavy rainfall is forecast over Tamil Nadu and Kerala over the next 4 days. Well, heavy rain intensified around Beijing and nearby provinces in northern China, exacerbating the risk of disasters, including landslides and flooding, authorities said, as they relocated more than 4,000 people. Colossal rain continued to pound the northwestern suburban area of Miyun in Beijing, causing flash floods and landslides, and many villages were affected. Well, wildfires are sweeping across southern Europe and in the Balkans, forcing thousands to flee as record heat waves, bone-dry conditions and fierce winds have fueled a region-wide crisis. In Karabukh, Turkey, firefighters battled intense flames that scorched large swathes of forest and farmland. The fire spread rapidly near the UNESCO World Heritage town of Safranbolu, prompting the evacuation of 10 villages. A massive forest fire that began on Saturday in western Bulgaria escalated on Sunday as it crossed into Serbia, devastating border villages and forcing multiple evacuations. The village of Rani Lag suffered the worst damage, with half of it reduced to ashes. Bulgarian authorities call the wildfire threat dynamic and severe, as crews battled 97 fire hotspots nationwide. In Sardinia, Italy, thick smoke was seen rising from beaches in Villasimius as a wildfire broke out near the coastline on Sunday. Several vehicles were incinerated in the blaze, and strong winds continue to hamper firefighting and evacuation efforts. Strong winds were hindering rescue efforts. Italy has been sweltering under summer heat waves, with wildfires particularly affecting arid southern regions. Albania is also battling a growing wildfire crisis as blazes erupted across northeastern and southern regions over the weekend. Authorities deployed 90 soldiers and 2 helicopters to combat intense fires in Balquiza, where over 20 separate blazes broke out, driven by strong winds and extreme heat. From Turkey to Italy and across the Balkans to Albania, the wildfires serve as a grim reminder of the growing impact of climate-driven extreme weather. Bureau Report, DD India. Well, the UN's climate chief challenged Australia to take more ambitious climate action, saying the mining superpower faced a defining moment as it prepared new emission targets. Australia is due to release its latest national emissions targets in September, setting out plans to decarbonize an economy built largely on mining and coal. Australia has previously pledged to cut greenhouse gas emissions by 43% before the end of the decade and to reach net zero by the year 2050. It is currently developing its next round of targets on nationally determined contributions, a key obligation under the landmark Paris Climate Agreement. And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. North Korea rejects dialogue with Seoul, says no interest in talks. Union members at Boeing reject the company's contract that might lead to strikes at the aviation giant's facilities in Missouri and Illinois. And in cricket, Ravindra Jadeja and Washington Sundar dug it out at the Old Trafford as help India secure a hard-fought draw against England in the 4th Test.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. And moving on, in a dramatic turn in global trade relations, U.S. President Donald Trump has clinched a major trade deal with the European Union, setting a 15% tariff on key European exports to America. The agreement marks a significant shift in transatlantic economic policy and is expected to have wide-reaching implications for global markets. Here's a report.
The United States and the European Union have reached a wide-ranging trade agreement, ending a months-long standoff between the two. The agreement reduces Trump's 30 to 50% tariff threats to 15%, with steel and aluminium retaining 50% with a quota system. Under the agreement, a limited range of goods, including plane parts, semiconductor equipment, certain chemicals, and some agricultural products, will be fully exempt from tariffs. The deal came after a private meeting on Sunday between U.S. President Donald Trump and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen in Scotland. During the briefing, Trump also said his administration was close to reaching a trade deal with China, but gave no other details.
Thank you very much. So we have good news. We've reached a deal. It's a good deal for everybody, I believe. And I think you were saying this is probably the biggest deal ever reached in any capacity, trade or beyond trade.
It is.
It's a giant deal with lots of countries. So we're going to do the following. The European Union is going to agree to purchase from the United States $750 billion worth of energy. $750 billion worth of energy. They are going to agree to invest into the United States $600 billion more than they're investing already.
The European Union has pledged $750 billion in the U.S. energy purchases and $600 billion in additional investments, marking a historic economic collaboration. Ursula von der Leyen said the agreement would help rebalance trade between the two large trading partners. She also said that a 0-for-0 tariff rate had been agreed for certain strategic products, including aircraft and aircraft parts, certain chemicals, and certain generic drugs.
We have a deal. We have a trade deal between the two largest economies in the world. And it's a big deal. It's a huge deal. It will bring stability. It will bring predictability. That's very important for our businesses on both sides of the Atlantic. It's 15% tariffs across the board, all inclusive.
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen added that the deal creates certainty in uncertain times, delivers stability and predictability. Irish Trade Minister said the deal provided a measure of much-needed certainty for Irish, European and American businesses. Dutch Prime Minister Dick Schoof called the agreement vital, while European Parliament President Roberta Metsola said that it was an important step that strengthens our transatlantic partnership. The deal comes ahead of the 1st of August deadline and follows a similar trade deal struck between the US and Japan the previous week. The deal is the most significant of Trump's trade deals announced so far, following preliminary pacts with Japan, the United Kingdom, Indonesia, Vietnam and the Philippines, and a 90-day trade truce with China. Anamika Pandey's report, TD India.
Many thanks. Thank you.
Well, the stakes were high with the looming August 1st deadline and $1.9 trillion transatlantic trading relationship on the line. Finally, we have an EU-US trade deal. Let's dive into some of the details of the deal. Many European businesses will breathe a sigh of relief after the leaders agreed the 27-country bloc will face a baseline levy of 15% instead of a threatened 30%, but the deal will not satisfy everyone. What did EU-US agree? Both sides confirmed there will be a 15% across-the-board rate on a majority of EU goods, with bilateral tariff exemptions on some products. The deal will bring relief for the bloc's auto sector, employing around 13 million people. A 15% levy will remain costly for German automakers, but it is manageable. EU also committed to buy $750 billion of liquefied natural gas, oil and nuclear fuels from the United States, split equally over 3 years to replace Russian energy sources. And it will pour $600 billion more in additional investments in the United States. Any exemptions? 15% rate applied across most sectors, including semiconductors and pharmaceuticals, a critical export for Ireland, which the bloc has sought to protect. Trump in April launched probes that could lead to significantly steeper tariffs on the two key sectors, warning this month he could slap 200% levies on drugs. Brussels and Washington agreed a bilateral tariff exemption for key goods including aircraft, certain chemicals, semiconductor equipment, certain agricultural products and critical raw materials. What's next? Further negotiations on steel and aluminium may be brought up soon given the Trump government's imposition of 50% tariff on them globally. As per the EU Commission President, wine and spirits remain other aspects that have to be sorted out in the next days. Bureau Report, DD India. Well, updates on Thailand-Cambodia border clash now. The leaders of Thailand and Cambodia will attend mediation talks over the deadly border conflict in Malaysia on Monday. Talks are scheduled to begin at 7 GMT on Monday with Thai Acting Prime Minister Phumtham Vichayachai and Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Manet attending the talks. At least 33 soldiers and civilians have been killed, while thousands of nationals from both sides have been displaced since border fighting broke out on the 24th of July. Meanwhile, the situation remains tense and two sides seem to be preparing intensified military operations to inflict maximum damage in the final stages before negotiations. In the Thai province of Sisaket, sounds of shelling were heard throughout Sunday. However, it was unclear which side of the border it was on. Thailand and Cambodia have bickered for decades over undemarcated points along the 817-kilometer land border, with ownership of the ancient Hindu temples Tao Muan Thom and the 11th century Priya Vihar central to the disputes. And senior U.S. and Chinese negotiators will meet in Stockholm on Monday to tackle long-standing economic disputes at the center of the country's trade war. The stakes are high as both sides aim to address lingering economic issues, including significant trade deficits and China's regulatory measures on precursor chemicals for fentanyl. The U.S. seeks to enhance its export opportunities to China, while Beijing demands easing of U.S. tariffs, including those related to fentanyl, to resolve trade disputes. North Korea has no interest in any policy or proposals for reconciliation from South Korea, the powerful sister of its leader Kim Jong-un said in the first response to South Korean Liberal President Lee Jae-myung's peace overtures. Kim Yo-jong, who is a senior North Korean ruling party official and is believed to speak for the country's leader, said Lee's pledge of commitment to South Korea-U.S. security alliance shows he's no different from his hostile predecessor. And on to some business news now. Members of a union representing workers who assemble fighter jets in 2 Boeing factories rejected the U.S. aircraft manufacturer's proposed new contract, paving the way for possible strikes. More than 3,200 members of the union employed at Boeing facilities in the Midwestern states of Missouri and Illinois rejected the company's contract offer. And on to some sports news. The FIDE Women's World Cup 2025 final between India's Konadu Hampi and Divya Deshmukh will head into tie breaks after the two played out a draw in the second classical game on Sunday. Playing with the white pieces, Hampi was forced to go for a draw through repetition after Divya gave her back-to-back checks. Game 1 had also ended in a draw on Saturday. The winner for the final match will be decided in the tiebreaker on Monday. Well, Shubman Gill led India secured a hard-fought draw in the 4th test against England on Sunday to keep the series alive going into the final game. England scored a mammoth 669 runs in the first innings to take a 311-run lead. After losing 2 wickets with 0 runs on the board at the start of second innings, India batted for over 5 sessions to end the final day on 425 for 4. A gritty 100 from Gill, backed up by unbeaten centuries from Ravindra Jadeja and Washington Sundar, helped India script a sensational comeback. While England is leading the 5-match series 2-1. India will be hoping to end their tour with a win and draw the series at 2-2. The 5th and final test begins on Thursday at the Oval in London. Well, today is World Hepatitis Day. It's a liver infection that can go serious. Do you know the difference between hepatitis A, B, C, D and E? How do you protect yourself from contaminated food and water or infected bodily fluids? Can you spot the symptoms? We'll break it down for you: causes, risk, prevention and treatment. Let's explore the facts and get the answers you need to take control of your liver health. Let's take a look at Sujata Lojip's report.
Did you know that over 325 million people worldwide are living with viral hepatitis? Hepatitis is inflammation of the liver. Yes, it's that simple. But what's not simple is how it can affect your life. Let's break it down. There are 5 main types of hepatitis: hepatitis A, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, hepatitis D, also known as Delta variant, and hepatitis E. Now here's what you need to know about each type. Hepatitis A, or HAV, is primarily spread through contaminated food and water. It's often associated with poor sanitation. The good news, it's usually a short-term infection and there's a vaccine available. Hepatitis B, HBV, can be acute or chronic. It spreads through contact with infectious body fluids like blood or semen. This can happen through unprotected sex, sharing needles, or from mother to child during childbirth. Chronic hepatitis B can lead to severe liver damage, but there's a vaccine and antiviral treatments that can help manage it. Hepatitis C HCV is primarily transmitted through blood. Think sharing needles or receiving contaminated blood products. While there's no vaccine for hepatitis C, there are effective antiviral treatments that can cure the infection in most cases. Hepatitis D, HDV or Delta variant, is unique because it only occurs in those infected with hepatitis B. It can worsen the severity of hepatitis B and complicate treatment. HDV is considered a severe form of hepatitis with a higher risk of liver failure or liver cancer. Hepatitis E, HEV, is similar to hepatitis A in that it's transmitted through contaminated water. It's usually acute and self-limiting, but it can be severe in pregnant women. According to research, HEV is a significant public health concern in developing countries. So how can you protect yourself? Prevention is the key. Here's what you can do. Vaccines are available for hepatitis A and B. Practice safe sex. Use clean needles. Avoid sharing personal items like toothbrushes or razors. Wash your hands frequently. For hepatitis C, screening is vital, especially if you have been at risk. So what can you do today? Get informed, get vaccinated, and practice safe habits. Your liver will thank you. Sujata Lochap for FIDE India.
All right, so stay safe, and that's all for this edition of DD India Live. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.